makes a great fighting game? Is it the gameplay? How about the character selection? Or do you just like to vibe to the story and enjoy the music? Well, I'll tell you a game that had it all. Arguably the best Tekken game. It's Tekken 5 on the PS2 and PS3 and PSP and arcade. Okay, there are a few versions. But this was the game that changed Tekken forever. Tekken 5 is released in arcades 2004, but let's not start there. Before the game was released, the Tekken team were not in a good state after the commercial failure of Tekken 4. You see, Tekken 4 was brave for going in its own direction and going for the more grounded and slow approach, but Tekken up to that point was an arcade fighter with fast-paced gameplay. The game before that one, Tekken Tag 1, it was the polar opposite of Tekken 4. It actually got to the point where the creator of Tekken left Namco for a whole year because of Tekken 4. The pressures and criticism from making a game like Tekken 4 was just too much for Harada. But eventually, after the higher-ups pleaded and encouraged him, he came back. And with the 10th anniversary of Tekken around the corner, this time, Harada and the Tekken team were not messing around. Meticulous research was conducted into the failure of Tekken 4 and the successes of Tekken 3. They wanted to make a game that was for the player. For the players. So development was ready to go, and the Namco higher-ups were willing to invest in this project, so new softwares were brought in to increase the character animation's complexity, and they were also able to bring in stuff like fire for the first time in stages. Sometime later, at E3 2004, the game was revealed to the world because it was always E3 back then, alongside Nina's game Death by Degrees. I might play this game. And in the lead up to Tekken 5, the TV commercials were way ahead of their time. You've probably seen these being memed before. As soon as you open up Tekken 5, you're presented with this sequence right after the end of Tekken 4. Still to this day, I get goosebumps watching this. This intro was so good that it inspired the Tekken developers to make a movie, Tekken Blood Vengeance. Don't watch it. Don't. The game features your standard story battle survival arcade. You know the deal, but hold on. You can play Tekken 1, 2, and 3 in Tekken 5. Base. Story mode came with the big boss, Jinpachi Mishima. And if you've ever played against this character, you know how it feels to be scared and helpless as a 200-year-old giant demonic man laughs at your mere existence. Look out here! Look out! Get away! God's sakes! The IGN reviewers didn't stand a chance. The story tried to grab your attention straight off the bat by saying Heihachi's dead when in reality he just got more angry, and characters not involved in the main story were given more crazy and comedic endings. This may have killed off some potential character development, but the CGI visuals were a huge upgrade compared to the games before, and some of them were quite memorable.
9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Moving on to the gameplay, Tekken 5's gameplay is the current blueprint for all Tekkens following it. Movement options were fast and agile, similar to Tag Tournament 1, but this time, you could sidewalk. The combo system wasn't restrictive, and it gave you freedom to get a satisfying amount of damage, but not too much all the time with extenders. But let's not lie here, ridiculous damage was still possible in Tekken 5. The game's backdashing, sidestepping, sidewalking, and general gameplay all came together to make high-level Tekken seem mystical to people who casually played the game. It was just so fast. The competitive scene was getting bigger than ever, and there was one man named Q-Dance who was causing a lot of trouble in Asia. This man's Devil Jin would cause fights to break out in the arcade because he held sweep too many times. He was seen as the best in the world at the time, and when he went to a Tougeki tournament in Japan and lost to Japanese players, he He challenged all of them to casual games afterwards, and he ended up beating every single one of them, one by one. This was such a humiliation that this elevated the rivalry between Korea and Japan to the next level. Meanwhile, in the US, MLG tournaments were beginning to spring up everywhere, so there were more tournaments involving prize pools. And EVO 2006, the winner Crow won $5,000, when Knee in Tekken 7 2022, he only won around $7,000, so prize pools at EVO basically reached their peak in Tekken 5. You may have caught on that the life bars have been changing colours throughout this video, and that's because there were many different versions of Tekken 5. The first being Tekken 5, the original, with orange life bars. But did you know that in arcades, straight after the console release, there was a version called Tekken 5.1, and it fixed a lot of problems like Steve's Infinite and Nina's ridiculous moves, but this was never released to console. I'm not sure why, but we got the broken version. It was later on in 2006 where Tekken 5 got an update worldwide with the release of Dark Resurrection. Many players will tell you that this is the greatest fighting game in the franchise and maybe the greatest fighting game ever, just for the gameplay alone.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
The PS3 release allowed Tekken to add more features that we'd never seen before. 1080p and 60 FPS, better balance, new characters such as Armor King, Lillian, Dragonot, an online mode that was filled with players competing for the highest rank, which was Dark Lord back then. There was also the PSP version of Tekken 5, and usually with PSP games you don't get the same gameplay, but Tekken Dark Resurrection, it just seemed to be a downscale with all characters being available along with their whole moveset, making it a viable way to practice whilst on the move. This was genuinely the method I used to learn my first ever combo as a scrubby lord.
You win.
There's one thing that I just have to mention about this game, and that's the music. As I said before, Harada and the Tekken team were getting serious for this game, and they brought in the big boy composers for this one, and it shows. Tekken 5 was a masterpiece, crafted in response to increasing doubt of the franchise. The Tekken team wanted to show the world that they knew how to make Tekken. Whilst Tekken 4 focused on realism at the cost of fast gameplay, everything in Tekken 5 is constructed to give the player a satisfying gaming experience, high or low level. This is why the game feels so smooth to play and why characters move with such ease across these beautiful stages, supplemented by a range of great soundtracks. It's easy to underestimate just how much this game did for Tekken. This is the first game to have a ranking system, and later on, the full crush system where a move could go under another move. The first Tekken with customization, including 600 unique items. The first Tekken in which each character used their native language to speak to each other, which the game's quite well known for now. And the first Tekken to have both Bald and Waller stages in the same game. All this with the fundamental gameplay engine that we still see today in Tekken 7, and you can see why people believe that Tekken 5 was the best in the franchise. There's one thing for sure though, Devil Within was trash.
Cast your mind back to March 2020. You may have been one of the many people playing Call of Duty Warzone. Free to play and a fresh take on the Battle Royale genre, implemented into a gritty Modern Warfare rebooted universe. Many Call of Duty fans experiencing 150 player combined arms battles with infantry and vehicles on a large map for the very first time. Intense combat and a second chance at life should you win a brutal 1v1 fight in the Gulag, or your teammates gathered enough money to buy you back at the last second while the play space shrinks around you. The loadout system allowed you to customize your own preferred arsenal, tweaking and meddling with weapon builds in the gunsmith. The guns felt varied, viable, punchy, with realistic function, accurate reloads and more recoil. They sounded incredible. The game was just pure fun, and offered a great space to kick back with your friends and have a laugh in a Call of Duty sandbox like never before. Skip to January 2025 and things have significantly changed for Call of Duty and Warzone. The situation is not good. The player count is falling. The last time I personally played Warzone was when they released the Area 99 map on November 14th last year. I played about 5 matches in total on that. I made one video and I logged off. All of my real life friends don't play the game anymore. The Milkman doesn't play the game anymore. My content creator friends don't play the game anymore. We don't talk about it at all. There's no desire to play right now. But why and what the hell happened here? Well, in this video, I'm going to give some feedback and try to understand and explain what happened. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can, and I'm going to make some assumptions. This is more how I feel. There's going to be some feels over reels here, but everything that I say is based on my experience with this game and from listening to other people's experiences and viewpoints. I realize how hard it must be to make a massive game like this, but consider this some constructive criticism from a fan. You won't agree with me on everything, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to be wrong about some things, but do let me know your thoughts below. But this is how I feel about the current situation, and hopefully offers some potential solutions. I'm doing this because I used to love playing Warzone on a daily basis. Now, I don't touch the thing, and I want to see it improve. We'll be discussing some general COD stuff in here too. Now, I want to be clear that I'm also making this video from the perspective of a gamer rather than someone who makes YouTube videos for a living. Forget about that. I've played almost all of the Call of Duty games on PC in online multiplayer since the very first Call of Duty set in World War II. I was running around Karantan and Stalingrad, fragging out on a 56k modem, having a blast. Before that, it was Medal of Honor Allied Assault. I've seen it all. Things have changed a lot, though, for Call of Duty since then. I'm also predicting that with COD bringing back Verdansk in March or April this year, as the rumours go, they are hoping that it's going to reinvigorate the game and the players will come flooding back. However, I don't think this will be the case unless there are significant, meaningful changes, as there are many fundamental issues with the current build that will overshadow any nostalgia that will quickly fade away. So 2025 Warzone, what are the problems? We're going to start with gameplay. The current iteration of Warzone as a whole is too complicated, especially for new and returning players. 2020 Warzone was simple, and I've broken this gameplay bit down into sections. First up, we're going to talk about movement. The movement in 2020 Warzone was basic. You had aim, shoot, sprint, tactical sprint, slide, and a contextual weapon mount. It was easy to understand and simple to get to grips with for new or existing COD players. 2025 Warzone integrated with Black Ops 6, and it took on the new Omni movement system. You can now sprint in any direction, dive through the air in any direction, lie on your back and shoot, dive, slide, get up really quick, continue shooting, crouch slide. It has many complexities leading to unpredictable, frustrating, and confusing firefights. It's difficult to understand just from a base level, featuring many customizable options too that confuse players, especially for those returning. While it may have been a fun change of pace for multiplayer in Black Ops 6 on small maps with fast respawns, I feel like it isn't well suited to a Call of Duty Battle Royale experience. Intrinsically linked to this is a severe lack of consistency. This is a big issue. Every year a new COD game releases and they integrate that into Warzone. The result of this is that there's no through line and base understanding for the gameplay, which confuses players. Warzone 2020, basic, easy to understand, and then Cold War releases, guns get quicker, TTK gets quicker, movements faster. Next was Vanguard, Verdansk goes away, World War II setting, map design ethos changes, overpowered planes in the sky, bad visibility. And then Warzone 2, massive sweeping changes. They add an inventory system, they add AI, strongholds. It's now a mix between BR and an extraction game. Snipers are changed and the pace is slowed down excessively. Modern Warfare 3, they revert most of that and you have a weird hybrid that's been hodgepodge together, playing on an uninspired large map, Urzikstan with no character. Black Ops 6, completely new movement system, still on the same big map. There's no ground zero for the players. And sometimes players might not necessarily like that year's flavour of COD either, yet they're forced to have it in Warzone. Many have favourites. Some love the Black Ops type gameplay, some hate it, some prefer Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward for Modern Warfare. There's too much pulling and pushing, and I imagine that the dev teams are constantly bickering on what their vision of Warzone is for whatever year, yanking the game in different directions, time and time again, taking one step forward and 3 steps back. Problems and bugs that were previously fixed return again and again. Think about Counter-Strike. That game released in 1999. It's inherently the same game today, one of the most played games ever on PC. PUBG is a foundation they've stuck to, still incredibly popular. Warzone, it keeps flip-flopping. There's no conviction in the game design, and this is hurting it on many levels. And the choice to integrate it into the yearly cycle of Call of Duty games is not working. Next, guns. Why is there over 160 weapons in the game? This clutch of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, it cannot be balanced. It's bloated, overwhelming, intimidating. Thinking about all these guns that you have to level up now, which takes way longer than it used to, by the way. Only 5 of them get used most of the time. It just seems so unnecessary. And the gear, there's too much gear, too many options. What's this? RDB. Is that a life ring? Do I have to be in water to use that? This is a Semtex. That doesn't really look like a Semtex, but whatever. A spy camera? So why would I want to take a picture in a battle royale game? What kind of spots people? It's a waste of time. Never going to use that again. What's this vest on the ground here? Oh, there's a different one here. Why is this board game from the 80s here? What does that do then? There's just too much stuff in the game. Too much stuff. Next, the game itself is not really a battle royale anymore. It plays more like TDM on a large map where there are 1,000 ways to respawn. You get your loadouts almost instantly, and the map just happens to get smaller and smaller until one person or team wins. There are way too many options to respawn. You don't feel the danger or value your life in Warzone like you used to, and that takes away a key component of the game that made it fun and interesting. Warzone 1 struck a nice balance with this, but they've taken respawns in the main battle royale mode too far in the wrong direction now. Many changes they've made, in fact, have steered the game away from its original vision. There's no downtime anymore. Respawns, redeploy beacons that can move you around vast distances of the map in a few seconds. Fast ziplines everywhere, connecting buildings together, horizontal and vertical. The pace is relentless, and you don't have time to breathe. Those quiet moments that you had in 2020 when you were looting, moving from point A to point B, working out how much money you had together to see if you could buy a loadout yet, chatting, catching up with your mates, socializing while you play, that's all gone. That's not possible anymore. Those moments were needed. People enjoy those moments. The peaks and valleys of 2020 Warzone are what made it addictive and interesting. There was a narrative, little stories and moments that you would have and remember. Nowadays, it's just a hyper-fast TDM with a shrinking play zone. Most players just run at each other full speed and hold down fire. The basis of a semi-authentic, realistic map that we used to have has been replaced for intense player movement and rotation. Moving on, vehicles. Useless now, no one uses them. Why would you, when you can loot a redeployed beacon and move vast distances in a few seconds? Vehicles in Warzone 2020 were fun. Big part of the gameplay loop. Driving around as a squad in a big truck, a jeep, relocating in a helicopter, or having to bail onto a roof at the last second because it just took too much damage from other players. This was exciting and it offered unique gameplay scenarios that COD didn't have before. The vehicles now handle poorly, they can be destroyed easily, they might as well not be in the game, and the map designers hampered the use of vehicles too. The other side of this is that vehicles also created epic and memorable moments for infantry who were fighting against them. Go on. Oh, no way! No way! That is ridiculous. Hitting long-range RPG shots on helicopters and Berthas as they screamed by. Being chased down on the main roads by quad bikes, cinematic Michael Bay moments, firing javelin rockets at armored personnel carriers, setting proximity mine traps on the roads and bridges, using C4, sniping a pilot. That's all gone now. Doesn't happen anymore. Yes, I recognise that some of the vehicle systems were overpowered and they could be annoying at times. For example, flying a truck that can instantly accelerate to 200 miles per hour and road kill you. But they've been nerfed to the point now where they're irrelevant, and I think that's a shame. Next topic, audio. This could have its own section, even video, but I wanted to include it in gameplay here because it is one of my biggest complaints with the game, and for me, it has a massive negative impact on my experience. I don't think Warzone has ever had good audio. You can't hear footstep sounds until they're right next to you. The footstep sounds get muted and muddied by other audio in the game. The engine does an awful job with multiple footsteps at once. There's a weird reverb effect now that's confusing. It's hard to tell if someone's above or below you. Parachutes don't make noise a lot of the time, and someone can just land on you without you hearing a thing. You put this all together, and to me, it makes me feel like I'm not connected to the game. I feel like I'm gliding around in a space and not grounded in the experience. My ears are not giving me the information and feedback that I need to understand the environment that I find myself in. And when I get killed by an entire squad who tactical sprinted up to me at full speed, and I watch the kill cam, my mouth agape with what I see, I'll tab, I watch my recording back, and all I can hear, just to check, just to make sure I'm not crazy, half a second before I die is 3 small pitter-patter footsteps. That is an incredibly frustrating and disconnected experience for a player that happens all of the time. Now, audio is a very contentious issue in this game because there are 2 main schools of thinking with it that fight each other. The first school is very anti-accurate audio because people think that if you've got good audio in COD or Warzone, it will just promote camping and players won't want to move around the map at all for fear of being pre-fired or noticed too easily. The other school of thinking is pro-good audio, and that's the one that I assign myself to, because to me, I think this through. Which one would I rather have, whether I win or die? Let's think of a scenario. You're in a building, moving through to the next zone, and you have a firefight with a squad at the end of a corridor. You get bogged down. Maybe you take out one of theirs, they take out one of yours, but you're still in the fight, reloading, whatever. Then all of a sudden, behind you, another 3-man squad appears that rushed up to your building and start shooting you in the back. If you had good audio there, you hear that other squad coming and you can act accordingly. Flank, disengage, move so you're not in line of sight from a specific window, and get ready to fight another team behind you. Whatever, you might win, you might lose. With bad audio, like how it is in Warzone at the moment, that squad runs up to the building you're in. You don't hear them, they shoot you in the back and kill you. What would be more satisfying and interesting to me in that scenario? Spoiler, it's the one where I can hear the squad coming regardless of if they kill me or not, because I would have had a level of understanding from the knowledge the game gave me before the fight, and I can act on that, regardless if I act correctly, incorrectly, regardless of if I die or not. For me, the game would be way more engaging and interesting that way if it, A, had accurate footstep audio, so when people are sprinting around, I can understand roughly where they are, and B, gave players the option to crouch or walk almost silently. So if a player wants to be as quiet as they can be, sneak around, they still have that option, but they have to slow down a bit and think more about the engagement. A bit of risk, reward, and strategy creeps in, rather than how it is at the moment, players just sprint around holding W and shift because they know how bad the footstep audio is and the chances of someone hearing them alone. To me, having better audio and more context of the situation around you is better whether you lose or win the engagement. And the audio is so bad that some PC players will spend time installing third-party software, adjusting and tweaking their EQ settings in Windows to completely distort the sound of the game just so they can raise the footstep audio slightly. Many pro players in tournaments, NP and Warzone, were using this and openly said that if they didn't, they felt like they were at a disadvantage. Some players consider this cheating too, but it shows how desperate people are for good audio. Overall, the whole audio system and way of thinking with it, the design mentality in Warzone and COD needs a huge overhaul in my opinion. So, that's my core gameplay section complete. Next, we're going to move on to aesthetics. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that a skin in a Call of Duty game is going to ruin my day, because it isn't. Skins can be fun, stupid, and they make a lot of money for the publisher. They support the game, especially if it's free to play. You know, if I see someone running around as a unicorn, a shark, Nicki Minaj, an emoji, whatever the hell these things are, I'm not going to start crying about it and quit the game. As long as it's just cosmetic and it doesn't have gameplay benefits, like the Rose skin did, I can live with it. I've bought stupid, goofy skins and takedowns myself. If you buy them, that's your money, your choice. However, and I do think that this is important to many people, Call of Duty used to have an identity, an aesthetic. For many gamers, especially those who are late 20s to mid to late 30s, they grew up with the original COD trilogy set in World War II, then the original Modern Warfare trilogy, up until about the first Black Ops game, I'd say. All of those games together, collectively, had a vibe to them. This is what Call of Duty looked like back then. It was the cool, gritty military game with realistic outfits and guns. Yeah, the gameplay was arcadey, and you'd have bombastic action moments in the campaigns and multiplayer, but it looked like this. It had a feeling in the visuals, the worlds, the guns, even the audio. That has completely disappeared now, gone out of the window. Call of Duty does not have an identity anymore. It's akin to Fortnite in the range of art styles and aesthetics crammed into the game. This trend started with Black Ops 2 from what I recall, and it really began to accelerate with Advanced Warfare. Player customization obtained in various ways, from supply drops, challenges, weapons could look a bit different. You had the infamous clown mask, and with the rise in financial success of in-game microtransactions, live service, etc., the player skins and weapon skins are more outlandish than ever before. So when lapsed or even existing non-regular Call of Duty players come back to try the game, try the new Warzone, maybe they come back for Verdansk and they see this kind of thing, these colourful fantasy skins in a franchise that used to be grounded and authentic when they played it, that could potentially turn them off. It isn't the game, the franchise they remember anymore, and they start to feel like maybe what they used to know and love isn't for them now. They don't play it again. And you know what? That's okay, people move on, but I suppose it depends on how much of an impact the lack of realistic aesthetic and identity is actually hurting the game. I don't have the data for that, of course, but I feel like it should be a consideration, as I've seen many people discuss this. It isn't some niche topic, and there's a huge audience of FPS multiplayer gamers who want to play in realistic, authentic worlds where they can play a role and sink into a fantasy. COD is missing out on that now. It's something to think about, and perhaps the solution to this that would please both parties is to have a simple toggle switch in the options that says, only show me default and authentic skins. Next, oh boy, cheats. I cannot believe that after 5 years after all of the calls, the feedback sessions, the Reddit posts, the tweets, the blogs, the videos, the clips, the lawsuits, Warzone and Call of Duty still has a gigantic problem with cheaters. It's as worse as it's ever been, and the community does not trust that anything can be done to ameliorate the cheating situation. It's out of control. Legit players are getting shadow banned more often than ever now too. People don't trust each other and question every kill cam. The cheating situation is so bad that some people actually believe Activision develop cheats themselves and then sell them to cheat websites who sell them to players. It's absolutely wild. I realised that this is not an easy job for the developers. It's an ongoing battle, and it can never be won by either side, especially when there's money involved. But it's quite clear that Call of Duty is losing, and it does not have control of this at all. And it's hard to know where to start discussing this too, because there's so many factors at play, but this really started to become a widespread problem when Modern Warfare 19 introduced crossplay with PC and console, and Warzone released as free-to-play, exposing that huge console audience to things that they'd never seen before. Rage hacking, aimbots, wall hacks, flying cars, DDoS attacks. It showed all of this stuff to a massive group that hadn't seen it before, and they started talking about it. And I'm going to keep this short because it's been discussed ad infinitum, but here's some things they could do that I feel would actually make a meaningful impact. Some of this stuff wouldn't be easy. It would be a difficult decision, but I think it would help. And bear in mind that I play on PC too, so I would suffer from some of this. Step 1. Give console players the option for console-only crossplay. So PC players can only play with console players if the console player allows that in their matchmaking filters, or if they're in a party together. Yes, for legit PC players, this would have a big negative impact on matchmaking times, but sometimes a wolf has got to chew off its own leg to survive. This could be a good fix in the interim while they look at bolstering other forms of protection. Step 2. Roll out a mandatory, always-on, secure boot anti-cheat for PC. Go down the same route as Valorant. Port to Riot Games, get it done. Initially, people will complain en masse. If they want to play on PC, they've got to install it. No one trusts COD right now. This would be difficult, but in the long term, the benefits of having a clean game and a clean reputation would far outweigh the initial outrage and backlash. Step 3. In 2024, Microsoft or Activision for $68.7 billion. Call of Duty is now owned by Microsoft. What do Microsoft make? They make Windows. You play Call of Duty on PC with Windows. They're probably doing this already, but work more with the Windows team. Work with Microsoft. Come up with a better solution for fighting cheaters on PC, because what you got right now isn't enough and it's ineffective. And step 4, implement if it's not there already. I guess it was. And if it is, rely way more on real-time, in-game statistical analysis of players. From a data standpoint, obvious cheaters and rage hackers do things that human beings cannot. If that kind of obviously inhuman behavior is detected in a match, just ban it straight away. Moving on. Skill-based matchmaking, engagement-based matchmaking, whatever you want to call it, however you define it, however they define it. If you're watching this video, you know roughly what it is. In this section, I'm not going to discuss if I think it's a good or bad thing overall. I'm just going to tell you how I feel when I play this game. This feeling started with Modern Warfare 2019. When I play quick play in Call of Duty now, be that multiplayer or Warzone, I feel like I'm being manipulated. I feel a severe lack of gameplay variety. I feel like I play with and against the same players over and over. I feel like my ping is higher on average. I feel like I wait longer for matches than ever before, and I feel like I can't play with my friends. In 2024, Call of Duty released a couple of blogs and white papers explaining how their matchmaking system works. In total, 44 pages of information. 44 pages! There's graphs and data. It's available for free for everyone to see and read. I think it's a fascinating piece, and I really appreciate the communication from them. However, on the first page, it states the following. As the community will attest, ping is king. Connection is the most critical and heavily weighted factor in the matchmaking process. I'm sorry to say, this does not line up with my experience of the game at all. It's like pointing at an orange and telling me over and over again that it's a banana. How can ping be king when there's a 44-page document explaining how the matchmaking works and all of these other factors are a big consideration? When I saw this for the first time, I found it quite funny, and in my head I'm doing this. So imagine a player clicks play to start matchmaking, and behind the scenes we see the matchmaking algorithm man trying to find a game for them. Okay, first thing, connection. Where are they based? North America, East Coast. Cool. So, here's some nearby servers. And look, 50,000 people currently searching for a game in North America. Brilliant. And then we need to think about how long they've been waiting for. Let's check. Okay, so only a few seconds so far. No worries. Okay, great. I found a super low ping server that they can play in here. 5 millisecond connection. Amazing. The game is just about to start. Whoa. Wait. No. We can't put them in there because their kill death ratio is too low for that lobby. I just lost a load of good servers there. Hang on a second. What platform are they on? Xbox? Okay, so maybe we can put them with more Xbox players in this lobby. Wait, now we can't. Average score per minute slightly higher compared to the other players in there, so that would weigh the lobby too far in one team's favour and would be less likely to be a close match. It's going to be 90% chance instead of 95% chance. Unacceptable. How long have they waited now? Oh god, it's getting long. So what about this lobby? They don't have voice chat turned on. Can't put them in there. God, the selection of players is really getting a lot smaller now. What about the... No, not in there. So, they're playing on controller. Good. How about this lobby with PlayStation players also using controller? Bit of crossplay. Good. Nah, come on, don't be silly. They just played on this map before. Can't put them in there. Sorry, I'm really not sure about this. I mean, they could go in this low ping lobby that I found, but nah. Playlist diversity in their KD is too high for that lobby, so there's no way. Well, hang on. This one looks good so far. Check. I found a good one here. It's the perfect match. Everything lines up. Skill, platform, voice chat, input, maps, playlist diversity, 0.99 chance of a close game. The numbers make sense, but I've ruled out so many other servers now. This lobby's going to be 60 ping for that player. Screw it. You know what? Throw them in there. They've waited too long. Who cares if they have a worse experience because of the ping? Go complain on Reddit, loser. See you in the next match. That's Call of Duty matchmaking. That's how it feels to me. That is not ping is king. If ping was king, a player would click play. It would find any group of players searching to fill a lobby in a server close to them, put them in a group together and start the match as quick as possible. That's actually what ping is king would be. And that's not how the current system is at all. So you should know, if you're playing COD today, based on the information in the document they provided, in any mode that you play, you have a hidden rating, profile, and analytics on you that are being used to put you in a lobby that it deems acceptable. Skill and engagement are big factors. You're filling a hole. And no matter what level you're at, you can't see your own or other skill rating in the game. It will always try to match you with players of similar skill. If you think that's a good or bad thing, that's up to you. It limits the amount of people you play with, it has a negative impact on your connection experience and ping in the game, and it extends the time waited searching for a game. If they continue with this system in Warzone and multiplayer, it's only going to get more accurate over time, by the way. It would be great to let players in-game see their own rating and other players' rating for each lobby. I think that would go a long way. Related to this, thanks to some community members and notably the efforts of content creator Exclusive Ace, they discovered the only way to see some small reference for your behind-the-scenes skill rating is by submitting a data and information privacy request on the Activision website. It takes a few days to receive this, but it does show you your perceived skill value. There's not much context to it though, and no visibility of the players that you were playing with and against, but what it does reveal is a heavily reactive system that's constantly updating. I'd recommend watching Exclusive Ace's videos on this if you're interested to learn more. Wrapping this bit up, the discussion around matchmaking in COD games has become overwhelmingly toxic now. It's created more distrust in the community, and there are conspiracy theories such as skill-based damage and easier matchmaking if you buy bundles from the store. Players also figure out ways constantly to subvert these systems through various methods. I don't know what the answer is here, but for this section, I'll leave you with this. The notion of an old-school, casual, and unfiltered multiplayer experience has gone. Every match, regardless of your skill, is essentially a ranked match with no rank progression and no context of how and why you performed the way you did. You should know that you're always playing ranked, but it's just not called that. I feel like Call of Duty has forgotten that it's a toy to be played with, and their matchmaking system is designed to manipulate you and keep you playing for longer. Next, bugs. Honestly, there's been so many bugs with Warzone that there's no point documenting them all. Every game has them, it just seems that Warzone has way more than average, and they take longer to fix. There's been a notable pattern too that when there are problems with the store, they're often fixed sooner in a much quicker fashion. That might just be because a store problem is generally easier to fix than a gameplay problem though, but it's happened enough times now that it sends the wrong message and it creates a narrative within the community. Moving on, server performance. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Combined with the complex matchmaking system, you can get into some pretty rough servers with packet loss and high pings. Servers crash too, and they can be crashed by hackers now. While there's no official data, third-party testers have surmised that the game runs at between 15 to 20 tick rate. I'm no game developer and I'm very ignorant to this, but my understanding of it is that the higher the tick rate, the more real up-to-date version each player has of the game. In layman's terms, it's how fast everything in the lobby updates. The faster the better. Some games like Valorant have a 128 tick rate, so the response is very fast and hit registration, taking damage, etc. more often than not feels accurate. Obviously, Warzone has a much higher player count than Valorant of 100 to 150 players, so there may be technical problems with increasing the tick rate. I assume it would also cost more money for Activision to run higher tick rate servers, but as I mentioned before, they are owned by Microsoft now, so perhaps they can sort out a deal, you know? I don't even know if it would help with Warzone, but in my simple brain,
it makes sense. It would be a nice olive branch for the community to spend a bit more time and money on server performance. Other large player count games in the past, like Battlefield 4 for example, with 64 players, did have high tick rate servers up to 120 Hz if you wanted. That felt super snappy, good to play on, and 60 Hz then became the standard going forward. So I feel like it should be possible for Warzone 2. And higher tick rate servers should definitely be there already in multiplayer for smaller gamers like S&D, Hardpoint Domination. I'm sure those upgrades would make a massive positive impact on rank play, and of course competitive, the Pro League. I think it's important that we talk about trust as well. GT has been having a very hard time with this over the last 2 years, so I would say. It's clear on the surface that trust within the fan base and vocal community is at an all-time low. On almost every social media post or YouTube video, there is a slew of negative comments and sentiment. Sometimes even community notes. It mainly revolves around fixing the game, the cheating situation, and focusing on selling bundles and event passes instead of addressing problems with the game. The recent Squid Game event is an example of that. It gives the impression that their priorities are not in the right place. I also mentioned the thing about store errors too in the bug section that are properly fixed. Other bad examples that sour trust are like during Warzone 2 when DMZ was being updated still. They sold store bundles that gave you pretty big gameplay advantages, like always spawning in at the start of a round with a UAV. It all makes people wonder what else could be going on behind the scenes. Generally, speaking about microtransactions too, Call of Duty feels like it crams so much of that down your throat nowadays that you get sick of the taste. The battle passes, the store, black sell, events, skins, collabs, paid for passes in your face as soon as you boot up the game. It's way too focused on the business and engagement side of things, and I think it's really started to have a negative impact on the gameplay and player base now. Trust is important, and the only way out of this is to start actually delivering good updates and fixes. Shift the focus to the gameplay. More transparent communication would be nice too, but ultimately, I feel like they should stop saying they're going to do things. Instead, just start doing the things and let the improvements do the talking. Wrapping things up, because I don't want this video to go on too long, it probably already is, but I feel like many of these issues that I have could be rectified if they were to separate Warzone from the main Call of Duty titles so they weren't shackled and bound by that anymore. Make it a separate game with its own dedicated dev team, engine, weapon values, cycles, vision, etc. They need a fresh start and to go back to the drawing board, really diving into what made 2020 Warzone so good in the first place. It has started to become tiresome every year when there's a new COD game to learn, unlock and grind all these new weapons for Warzone, and every time they do a new integration.
Every night, when we go to sleep, where do we go, and what really happens? Some people may see horrible nightmares, beautiful dreams, their own skin, trapped by sleep paralysis. This is what we covered in today's video: sleep and dreams, as you might have guessed already by the title, of course. And if you don't know how an iceberg chart works, well, it starts with well-known things and common things such as a casual dream, which you have almost every night. Towards the bottom, cover unknown, more disturbing things such as being trapped in your own mind. But anyways, I'm excited to get into it. So let's kick it off with the sleep and dreams iceberg. And actually, before we get into the video, consider subscribing to the channel. We are almost to 100,000 subscribers. Really awesome. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Tier 1. Casual dreaming. Casual dreaming refers to the act of engaging in daydreaming or fantasizing during waking hours. Unlike the vivid and often uncontrollable nature of dreams during sleep, casual dreaming involves intentional or spontaneous imagination and mental exploration while awake, such as when you're really bored or at school or work or something like that, and your mind just wanders, and you can find yourself lost in thoughts, scenarios, or possibilities. Casual dreaming can be a creative and enjoyable activity, allowing your mind to wander into realms of different imagination and fantasy. It can be a source of inspiration, problem solving, or simply a way to escape momentarily from the demands of reality. People often engage in casual dreaming during moments of relaxation, boredom, or when seeking a mental break from routine tasks. This type of dreaming can take various forms, such as envisioning future goals, imagining different outcomes to situations, or just creating entirely fictional scenarios in your mind. It's a natural and common aspect of human cognition, and it can contribute to cognitive flexibility and creativity. Sleepwalking. Sleepwalking is a sleep disorder characterized by walking or performing other complex behaviors while still being in a state of partial awakeness during non-REM sleep. It is more common in children than in adults, but can still occur at any age. People who sleepwalk may engage in various different activities, such as walking around the house, opening and closing doors, rearranging furniture, or even leaving the house. Despite appearing awake, sleepwalkers are not conscious of their actions at all. Episodes usually occur during the first half of the night during deep sleep stages, lasting for a few minutes to half an hour or more. Sleepwalkers typically have little to no memory of the event, and if awakened during an episode, they may feel pretty confused or disoriented. Sleepwalking can be triggered by factors such as sleep deprivation, fever, certain different medications, stress, and alcohol consumption. Genetics may also play a role in predisposing someone to sleepwalking. In many cases, sleepwalking doesn't require specific treatment, especially if episodes are infrequent and not causing significant distress or any sort of harm. However, if safety concerns arise or if the sleepwalking is frequent and problematic, a healthcare professional may recommend addressing underlying issues such as improving sleep hygiene or managing stress. Sleepwalking can actually pose some safety risks to you, as individuals may be unaware of potential dangers in their environment. Precautions such as securing doors and windows and removing obstacles from the sleepwalker's path may be necessary. In some cases, a sleep study may be conducted to monitor brain activity, eye movement, and other psychological parameters during sleep to help diagnose this and understand the nature of your specific sleepwalking episodes. It's important to note that sleepwalking can sometimes be a symptom of an underlying sleep disorder or other more serious medical condition. But overall, sleepwalking is just, walking around in your sleep, like I just described in really deep detail. NREM sleep, or just REM sleep, I don't know. But non-REM sleep is a vital component of the sleep cycle. Completing the REM, rapid eye movement stage of sleep in the sleep phases consists of three distinct stages, N1, N2, and N3. N1, the initial stage, marks the transition from wakefulness to sleep, just by, going straight to sleep, right as you fall asleep, characterized by light sleep and occasional hypnic jerks. N2 follows, featuring sleep spindles and K complexes on EEG recordings, contributing to a deeper but still relatively light sleep. N3, the final stage of your sleep, and it is the deepest part of the NREM sleep, known as the slow wave sleep. During N3, vital psychological functions slow down and growth hormone is released. That's why you grow or heal during your sleep, supporting physical restoration and growth. The sleep cycle progresses through these NREM stages before transitioning to just REM sleep, and this cycle repeats throughout the night. Each sleep cycle, lasting approximately 90 to 110 minutes, contributes to the overall quality of sleep. NREM sleep is essential for various psychological processes, including memory consolidation, immune function, and overall well-being. So sleep is just obviously important, and it's important to get through all of these stages of sleep at least once, but most of all, twice. Melatonin supplements, readily available over the counter, are commonly used to regulate sleep patterns and put you to sleep. The hormone melatonin, naturally produced by the pineal gland in the brain, plays a pivotal role in signaling the body to prepare for sleep as darkness falls. Individuals with sleep disorders, those adjusting to new sleep schedules due to shift work, or experiencing jet lag, may turn to melatonin supplements for assistance to fall asleep. Dosage and timing are crucial considerations when using melatonin supplements. Starting with a low dose, about 30 minutes to an hour before bedtime, is generally recommended. Higher doses may not necessarily enhance the effectiveness and could lead to side effects. Melatonin sufficiently varies among individuals, and its use should be guided by a healthcare professional, especially when underlying health conditions or concerns are present. But overall, melatonin supplements are just to help you go to sleep. Regular wake cycle. Maintaining a regular wake cycle, also known as a consistent sleep-wake schedule or circadian rhythm, is essential for overall health and well-being. A regular wake cycle involves going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on the weekends. And this is the body's internal clock, or the circadian rhythm, which regulates the sleep-wake cycle. Consistency in sleep and wake times helps synchronize this internal clock, promoting better sleep quality and overall health. Tier 2, and I'm not sure why this one wasn't on the first tier, but it's whatever. But REM sleep, or rapid eye movement, or just REM, like I said, REM sleep, is a crucial stage in the sleep cycle, characterized by distinct psychological and neurological features. It is one of the 4 stages of sleep, alternating with the 3 stages of non-REM sleep throughout the night. During REM sleep, the brain becomes highly active, resembling the level of activity observed during wakefulness. So your mind is as active as it is during the day when you're sleeping during this REM sleep. This heightened neural activity is accompanied by vivid and immersive dreaming experiences. Despite the increased brain activity, REM sleep is also associated with temporary muscle paralysis, known as atonia, which prevents individuals from physically acting out their dreams, so you wouldn't get hurt. It's kind of like the brain's way of preventing you from hurting yourself while you're sleeping. REM sleep typically occurs in cycles, roughly every 90 to 110 minutes, with the duration of each REM period extending as the night progresses. These cycles are integral to the overall sleep architecture and contribute to the restoration and maintenance of various psychological functions. Psychological changes during REM sleep include increased heart rate, irregular breathing, and fluctuations in blood pressure. So it's almost as you're acting this out inside of your dream, and it kind of really makes a toll on your health in some sort of way. It's kind of weird. These changes, along with the vivid dreams, are believed to play a role in emotional processing and memory consolidation. REM sleep is particularly associated with the consolidation of procedural and emotional memories, contributing to the learning and the integration of experiences. So these ways of dreams and your dreams are kind of a way of your brain remembering stuff. So kind of weird. In the sleep cycle, REM sleep is preceded by non-REM sleep stages, which we talked about earlier, and the transition between these stages in a dynamic process. Adequate and balanced REM sleep is essential for overall sleep quality, emotional well-being, and cognitive function and cognitive health. Lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is a unique state of consciousness where the dreamer becomes aware that they are in a dream. This heightened self-awareness allows individuals to have varying degrees of control over their dream environment and their narrative. A key feature that distinguishes lucid dreaming from just regular dreaming is the vividness and realism of sensory experiences in a lucid dream can be striking, with sights, sounds, and sensations feeling as authentic as those in waking life. Lucid dreams can occur spontaneously, but some people actively practice techniques to induce and enhance this state, allowing them to promote this in their mind and get this over and over again almost every night. These techniques often involve reality checks, keeping dream journals to increase dream recall, and engaging in mental exercises aimed at promoting self-awareness both during waking hours and within the dream state. Some individuals harness the potential of lucid dreaming for creative exploration, problem solving, and personal pleasure. Research suggests that lucid dreaming is associated with increased activity in specific areas of the brain, including the prefrontal cortex, which is linked to decision-making and self-awareness. While lucid dreaming is a natural phenomenon that many people experience at least once in their life, the scientific understanding of its underlying mechanisms and potential applications is still evolving and still being studied. Nightmares. Nightmares, vivid and distressing dreams that evoke intense negative emotions or are just, terrifying. These unsettling dreams often involve threatening or terrifying scenarios, such as the feeling of being chased, falling, or experiencing some sort of harm. While nightmares are a normal occurrence in the brain, recurrent or severe instances can significantly impact sleep quality and overall well-being and psychological function. Various factors can contribute to the occurrence of nightmares, including stress, anxiety, trauma, medications, sleep deprivation, and certain medical conditions. Individuals with PTSD are particularly prone to experiencing recurrent nightmares. Nightmares may disrupt normal sleep patterns, leading to frequent awakening during the night and creating the reluctance to sleep. Nightmares should be distinguished from night terrors, a separate sleep disorder characterized by sudden, intense fear and temporary inability to fully awaken. With night terrors being more common in children, treatment for nightmares often involves addressing the underlying causes. Trauma-focused therapy, sleep hygiene practices, stress reduction techniques, and in some cases, medications may all be recommended to help get rid of nightmares. Sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation, the condition where an individual doesn't obtain sufficient sleep, can arise from various different factors, such as lifestyle choices, demanding work schedules, shift work, sleep disorders, medical conditions, and stress are all common contributors. The impact of sleep deprivation extends beyond mere tiredness, profoundly affecting cognitive function. Memory, concentration, decision-making, and reaction time may all be impaired, leading to diminished overall mental acuity. Mood disturbances, including irritability and mood swings, often accompany this sleep deprivation. The repercussions of insufficient sleep aren't limited to cognitive aspects. It significantly influences physical health. Chronic sleep deprivation is also associated with an elevated risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and a compromised immune system. Moreover, the increased risk of accidents and injuries underscores the importance of addressing sleep deficits. Emotional well-being is intrinsically linked to sleep as well, and chronic sleep deprivation can contribute to heightened emotional reactivity, stress, and susceptibility to mood disorders such as depression and anxiety. Physical appearance can also be affected by inadequate sleep. Dark circles underneath the eyes, puffy eyes, and a fatigued appearance are common manifestations. Additionally, premature aging may also be accelerated. So if you don't get sufficient sleep, you'll actually start to age quicker. In extreme cases, individuals experiencing chronic sleep deprivation may enter microsleeps, brief involuntary episodes of sleep that can occur even during activities requiring attention, which can be a major problem because people who are very sleep deprived, they will just start to have the microsleeps while such thing as driving, and sleeping while driving isn't the best scenario. And also the performance impairment resulting from sleep deprivation is particularly concerning in safety sensitive industries like healthcare and transportation. Establishing good sleep hygiene practices, addressing underlying sleep disorders, and adopting a consistent sleep schedule are crucial steps in mitigating the adverse effects of any sort of sleep deprivation. Jet lag. Jet lag is a temporary sleep disorder that arises when an individual's internal body clock becomes misaligned with the time zone of their current location due to rapid long-distance air travels across multiple time zones. Symptoms include fatigue, insomnia, irritability, and digestive issues, all just kind of related to being sleepy. The severity and duration of jet lag depend on factors such as the number of time zones crossed, the direction of travel, individual resilience, and pre-existing sleep patterns. Prevention and management strategies involve gradually adjusting sleep and meal times before travel, staying hydrated, exposing oneself to natural light, and adopting the local schedule quickly upon arrival. Traveling eastward often results in more pronounced jet lag than westward travel due to the body finding it easier to delay its internal clock than to advance it. Long-haul flights are typically more associated with jet lag than short-haul flights that don't cross as many time zones. Pretty obvious, though. Individual variability plays a role in susceptibility to jet lag, with factors such as age, overall health, and circadian preferences influencing how quickly someone adjusts to another time zone and how tired they will be and how tired they are when the jet lag happens. Afterlife dreams. Afterlife dreams, often referred to as death-related dreams or dreams of deceased loved ones, are experiences where individuals dream about people who have passed away recently. These dreams will frequently involve vivid and emotionally charged interactions with the deceased person or persons, such as conversations, receiving messages, or feeling a strong presence of the deceased loved one or deceased person. The themes and content of afterlife dreams can vary widely among all individuals, encompassing comforting and peaceful encounters to more challenging or distressing experiences. The interpretation of afterlife dreams is often shaped by personal beliefs, cultural influences, and all religious backgrounds, which can all play a role in how you perceive it in your dreams and how you see the loved one. In some cultures, these dreams are considered a form of communication, of a means of spirit to convey messages from beyond. For many individuals, afterlife dreams are viewed as meaningful or symbolic experiences, providing a sense of comfort, closure, or reassurance. Psychologically, afterlife dreams are often seen as a natural response to grief. Dreaming about a deceased loved one can be part of the grieving process, allowing individuals to process emotions, their memories, and unresolved feelings associated with the loss. From a psychological standpoint, these dreams may serve as a way for the mind to navigate the complex emotions tied to the departure of a loved one. Afterlife dreams can also be seen through the lens of maintaining a continuing bond with the deceased. Some individuals find that these dreams allow for a sense of ongoing connection and relationship, contributing to a feeling of ongoing presence even after death. Ultimately, the interpretation of afterlife dreams is highly personal and hard to just widely do. While some may find solace and meaning in these dreams, others may view them as a random occurrence with no particular significance. Approaching all of these experiences with sensitivity and recognizing the diverse ways individuals interpret and respond to afterlife dreams is crucial, considering the unique and personal nature of the grieving process. Narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder that has symptoms affecting sleep and your wakefulness. One hallmark of narcolepsy is excessive daytime sleepiness, where individuals experience persistent and overwhelming drowsiness during waking hours or just during the day, irrespective of nighttime sleep duration. So no matter how much you sleep, you'll still be tired. This can significantly impact daily activities and overall functioning and well-being. A defining feature of narcolepsy is the occurrence of sleep attacks, abrupt and uncontrollable episodes of just falling asleep. These episodes, lasting from a few seconds to a few minutes, can happen during routine activities and may pose relatively serious safety risks. Cataplexy, another characteristic symptom, involves sudden muscle weakness or paralysis triggered by strong emotions. Sleep paralysis, a temporary inability to move or speak during the transition between wakefulness and sleep, and vivid hallucinations add up to the complex clinical picture of such narcolepsy. Disturbances in nighttime sleep are common among individuals with narcolepsy. Despite experiencing EDS, maintaining restorative sleep can be very challenging for the person with narcolepsy, with frequent awakening during the night. The exact cause of narcolepsy is not fully understood at all, but is associated with a deficiency of hypocrin, a neurotransmitter linked to wakefulness. The deficiency is believed to result from the autoimmune process targeting the cells producing hypocrin. Management of narcolepsy involves a multifaceted approach. Medications as such, including stimulants to address EDS and antidepressants or other drugs to manage cataplexy and other symptoms along with narcolepsy, are commonly prescribed. Lifestyle adjustments as well, such as adhering to a regular sleep schedule and incorporating short naps, are also recommended to enhance your overall well-being. Sleep apnea. Sleep apnea, a prevalent sleep disorder, manifests through repeated interruptions in breathing during sleep. The two main types are obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, and central sleep apnea, or CSA. OSA occurs when throat muscles excessively relax, causing a partial or complete blockage of the upper airway, often accompanied by loud snoring. CSA, less common, results from a failure of the brain to signal the muscles responsible for breathing. So you really just stop breathing when you're sleeping, which obviously is a pretty big problem. Both types lead to disruptions in sleep, affecting overall health and your well-being. Common indicators of sleep apnea include loud snoring, frequent awakening throughout the night, and daytime symptoms such as excessive sleepiness, persistent fatigue, and impaired concentration. If left untreated, sleep apnea can contribute to various health issues, including hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. Treatment options for sleep apnea depend on the type and the severity. Lifestyle modifications such as weight loss and positional therapy may be all recommended. Falling in void dreams. Dreams of falling into an abyss abyss or a void are common and intriguing phenomenon with potential symbolic meanings. Psychologically, falling dreams are often interpreted as reflections of a sense of loss of control, anxiety, or insecurity in your life. The void in these dreams may represent the unknown or the aspects of life that feel overwhelming or uncertain. The emotional impact of falling dreams is notable, often eliciting fear, anxiety, and a feeling of powerlessness that can linger upon awaking. These dreams may be connected to various stressors or challenges in the dreamer's life, or your life, for example, reflecting fears of failure, being overwhelmed, or uncertainties about the future. The personalized nature of dream symbolism emphasizes the importance of considering the dreamer, unique experiences, and emotions. Falling dreams can serve as a psychological mirror, reflecting and processing the dream's current state of mind, but for some individuals, falling dreams may just offer a sense of lucidity or awareness during the dream, and some may have some sort of meaning in your real life, or, it could just be a dream that you're falling. Irregular wake cycle. An irregular wake cycle, characterized by disrupted or inconsistent patterns of waking and sleeping, can all result from various factors with implications for overall well-being. Shift work is a common contributor, as individuals engaged in irregular work hours may struggle to establish a stable sleep routine, challenging their body's natural circadian rhythm. Social jet lag arising from irregular social activities or commitments can similarly lead to misalignment between internal and the external time, affecting your sleep consistency. The pervasive use of electronic devices, particularly before bedtime, presents another challenge to your regular wake cycle. Exposure to screens suppresses melatonin production, hindering the body's ability to transition into restful sleep. So, for example, if you're, just watching a video or just scrolling through TikTok or something like that before bed, you won't actually get as much restful sleep as if you were to just leave your phone, wait an hour, and then go to bed. Because your body just can't, even though you do fall asleep, you're not going to sleep fully restful. Poor sleep hygiene practices are another thing, including irregular bedtimes and inconsistent sleep routines, all contribute to the disruption of sleep-wake patterns. Stress and anxiety prevalent in modern lifestyles can significantly impact sleep once again, leading to irregular wake cycles. But overall, wake cycles are very important to have a consistent one, and irregular ones can make you feel, tired and other things like that. Insomnia. Insomnia, a common sleep disorder, is marked by persistent difficulties in just, falling asleep, staying asleep, or achieving restorative sleep despite having the opportunity to do so. So no matter what, if you're put with a perfect dark room in a comfy bed, you won't be able to fall asleep because of insomnia. It encompasses both primary insomnia, not directly linked to other health conditions, and secondary insomnia, which is associated with factors like medical issues, medications, or psychological disorders. Symptoms of insomnia include trouble initiating sleep, frequent awakenings during the night, early morning awakenings, and waking up feeling unrefreshed. The condition is characterized by acute, often triggered by specific sensors, and chronic, lasting for 3 months or more and requiring more comprehensive management. Various factors all contribute to insomnia, including stress, anxiety, depression, disruptions in the sleep environment, changes in your work schedules, and medical conditions. The impact extends beyond just the night, affecting your daytime functioning with symptoms like fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and mood disturbances. All of the symptoms that go along with, just being tired. Long-term insomnia can contribute to increased risk of cardiovascular issues, obesity, and mental health disorders. Treatment approaches for insomnia encompass behavioral strategies and, in some cases, medications. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is a well-established method addressing behavioral and cognitive factors. Medications, though available, are generally recommended for short-term use due to the potential side effects and dependency concerns. Tier 3. Sleep talking, or soliloquy, is a common sleep disorder characterized by verbal utterances during sleep, often ranging from, simple sounds to coherent sentences just being spoken at random during the night. It can occur during any state of sleep, but is typically associated with lighter non-REM sleep stages. The content of sleep talking varies widely and may just include random words, phrases, or even complete sentences. The causes of sleep talking are not fully understood, but are believed to be related to increased brain activity during the transition between sleep stages. While sleep talking is generally harmless, it doesn't require any sort of specific treatment. Its occurrence may be influenced by factors such as stress, fever, sleep deprivation, or medications. Addressing underlying causes such as managing stress or improving sleep hygiene may help reduce the frequency of sleep talking. But sleep talking isn't really a big deal anyways, so you shouldn't be worried if you sleep talk or somebody knows sleep talking, but it's just kind of a weird thing that happens when you're sleeping. Parasomnias, and this is kind of just a different word for sleepwalking. And the definition for it is a person with parasomnias may seem to be alert, walking, or talking, or eating, or doing other such activities, but without awareness because the brain is only partially awake. So it's just kind of a more almost intense version of sleepwalking because you can also talk and eat, but you're still unconscious. So kind of weird. Dreams about Minecraft. Yeah, I don't really know how to cover this one because there's nothing really online or anywhere saying anything specific about dreams about Minecraft, but basically people have been heard to have had dreams about Minecraft or in Minecraft because sometimes when you play a video game so much, your brain will just kind of pick up on that during the nighttime and you'll just dream it like you're kind of living in it and also playing the video game. I don't know. That's my analogy of it, but I don't know. Leave a comment down below if you know what dreams about Minecraft means in any more specific sense. Somniphobia or sleep dread is a specific phobia characterized by an overwhelming fear of falling asleep or going to bed. Individuals with somniphobia may experience a range of symptoms, including heightened anxiety, panic attacks, sweating, trembling, and an overall dread of what might occur during sleep. Traumatic experiences during sleep, recurrent nightmares, or general anxiety disorder can all contribute to the development of somniphobia. The fear of sleep often leads to irregular sleep patterns, insomnia, and sleep deprivation, as individuals with somniphobia may be reluctant to initiate the sleep process due to their fear, and this is obviously very bad for your health because you end up sleeping very minimally. Freddy Krueger dreams. And this one is kind of also interesting because I'm not sure how to really cover it, whether you're dreaming about Freddy Krueger or the actual premise of the movie Nightmare on Elm Street, so I'll just go briefly over both. Nightmare on Elm Street, the film series, can be particularly intense and unsettling due to the horror genre associated with the character Freddy Krueger. In these dreams, individuals may experience vivid and frightening scenarios, mirroring the suspenseful nature of the movies. The very essence of Freddy Krueger is to haunt and harm people within the dream world, creating a sense of vulnerability and fear that extends beyond the screen, possibly into your own life if you were very scared of the movie. Rett syndrome. Rett syndrome is a rare and severe genetic neurological disorder that predominantly affects females, occurring in about 1 in 10,000 to 15,000 live female births. It is characterized by a distinct pattern of development, a period of normal growth and development during the first 6 months of life, followed by a sudden regression in acquired skills. This regression includes the loss of purposes, hand skills, social engagement, and language abilities, marking the onset of the disorder. The majority of Rett syndrome cases are caused by mutations in the MECP2 gene located on the X chromosome. While most cases are sporadic, meaning they occur randomly, some may be inherited. And other than that, I'm really not sure why this was on the Sleep and Dream iceberg because, this is not really associated with sleeping or dreaming at all. And it's just kind of a weird diagnosis and syndrome that happens and you just lose a lot of motor functions in your body. Mirror dreams. Dreams featuring mirrors often delve into the symbolic realm, providing a canvas of sorts for self-reflection and introspection. When a dreamer encounters a mirror, it can represent a subconscious desire for self-awareness and exploration. The clarity or distortion of the reflection may mirror the dreamer's perception of themselves, offering insights into their own self-image and identity. Identity and self-image are pretty common themes in mirror dreams and dreams in general, where the condition of the mirror or the appearance of the reflection becomes a symbolic reflection of how the dreamer sees themselves or wishes to be seen by others. Out-of-body experiences are a subjective phenomenon where individuals perceive themselves as being outside their physical bodies. These experiences are highly subjective and can manifest in various different ways, such as floating, flying, or observing one's own body from a different vantage point. And this can happen during certain dreams of yourself, and you'll have a dream while you're sleeping that you see yourself, or it's an out-of-body experience. Pretty trippy. The occurrence of OBEs can be spontaneous or triggered by factors like near-death experiences, sleep paralysis, meditation, trauma, or the use of psychedelic substances. Some individuals intentionally induce OBEs through practices associated with lucid dreaming. Culturally and historically, OBEs have been reported across different societies and belief systems, showing that this has been happening for a while and all around the world. Interpretations of OBEs can vary based on different cultural beliefs and religious frameworks from around the world, with some associating them with concepts like astral projection. From a scientific perspective, OBEs are often linked to alterations in brain function. Researchers propose that disruptions in the integration of sensory information, changes in body perception, or neurochemical fluctuations in the brain may all contribute to this weird phenomenon of out-of-body experiences. And I've always found this kind of out-of-the-body experience very interesting in me personally. I've never experienced an out-of-body experience, but I'd be interested to hear if any of you guys down below and comment it down below your sort of out-of-body experience, because I can't even begin to imagine what that would be like, and it's just interesting. So share your stories down below. Tier 4, sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon characterized by a temporary inability to move voluntary muscles during the transitional phases of sleep and wakefulness. This peculiar state occurs as individuals are either falling asleep or waking up, so it's obviously just right at the beginning and end of sleep. A defining feature is the conscious awareness that accompanies the muscle immobility, leaving individuals fully awake mentally while temporarily paralyzed physically. So this can be pretty scary when it happens. During episodes of sleep paralysis, individuals often report vivid hallucinations, which can include a perceived presence in the room, pressure on the chest, or auditory hallucinations. Pretty crazy. These hallucinations, though not universal, contribute to the unsettling nature of the experience. The duration of sleep paralysis episodes is usually brief, ranging from a few seconds to a couple minutes, with normal muscle control returning upon fully waking up or fully falling asleep. Several factors can contribute to the occurrence of sleep paralysis, including irregular sleep patterns, sleep deprivation, or changes in your sleep schedule. While sleep paralysis is often associated with other sleep disorders, such as narcolepsy, it can also manifest just independently and randomly. Cultural interpretations of sleep paralysis vary, with some societies attributing the experience to supernatural entities or malevolent spirits. This cultural context can include and influence the perception of a threatening presence during the episodes. Alien abduction dreams. Alien abduction dreams represent a subset of vivid and often unsettling dream experiences where individuals believe they have been taken by extraterrestrial beings. These dreams are characterized by their vividness and an overwhelming sense of realism. Recurring elements in these dreams include encounters with beings often described as grays with distinctive features, bright lights, and a feeling of paralysis. The dreamers commonly report a sense of helplessness during the experience, manifesting itself as an inability to move, speak, or resist the actions of the extraterrestrial beings. So this isn't a very, happy dream. The emotional tone of alien abduction dreams is marked by intense fear and anxiety. The unfamiliar and potentially threatening nature of the scenario contributes to the distressing feelings associated with these dreams. So, kind of weird. Night terrors, or sleep terrors, are a type of parasomnia characterized by sudden and intense episodes of fear, screaming, and apparent panic during non-REM sleep. Typically beginning in childhood, these episodes can persist into adulthood, occurring within the first few hours of falling asleep, lasting only a few minutes. A person experiencing a night terror may exhibit behaviors such as sitting up in bed, screaming, or thrashing around, all while appearing unresponsive to attempts at comfort. One distinctive feature is the lack of recall upon waking, with individuals often having zero to no memory of the intense emotions or actions during the episode that happened. Unlike nightmares, night terrors are not associated with any sort of dream, making them less amenable to traditional dream analysis. They can be triggered by factors such as sleep deprivation, stress, fever, or certain medications, and their frequency can vary from infrequent to multiple times a night. Sandman. The term Sandman is often associated with folklore and popular culture as a mythical character who is said to bring sleep to children by sprinkling sand or dust over their eyes, inducing a state of drowsiness and, of course, sleep. False awakening is a fascinating and kind of weird and scary phenomenon where individuals dream about waking up, only to later realize that they were still within a dream. These experiences are marked by a high level of realism and detail, with dreamers navigating their surroundings and their house and engaging in routine activities as if they were waking up in reality, such as, getting up, brushing your teeth, getting in the shower, whatever, and then you wake up again to realize that that was all a dream. The vivid nature of false awakenings often makes it challenging to distinguish the dream state from actual wakefulness. One distinctive feature of false awakenings is the awareness and consciousness that accompanies them, such as a lucid dream. Dreamers are fully convinced that they have successfully woken up and proceeded with their morning routine, only to later discover that they were still immersed in a dream. The recurrence of false awakenings, where individuals believe that they have repeatedly woken up, contributes to a sense of obvious confusion and disorientation. Emotionally, false awakenings can elicit a range of feelings, including surprise, frustration, and occasional anxiety. The abrupt realization that one is still dreaming after the belief of having awakened adds a layer of complexity to the dream experience. Furthermore, false awakenings may serve as a gateway to lucid dreamings, providing an opportunity for the dreamer to become aware of their dream state, and in some cases, exert control over the unfolding narrative, causing them to do something other than their normal thing because they can realize that it's a dream state and it's not real life, so they can do whatever they want because it's a lucid dream, but pretty scary nonetheless if you think you woke up but it's just still a dream. Coma sleep. A coma represents a state of profound unconsciousness in which an individual is unresponsive to external stimuli and unable to wake up any other condition. This condition is typically triggered by severe brain injuries such as traumatic head injury, strokes, or conditions affecting the brain's function. One distinctive aspect of coma sleep is the absence of the typical sleep patterns observed in conscious individuals. Unlike the normal sleep-wake cycle with distinct stages and cycles, individuals in a coma do not experience the characteristic sleep stages because they're not sleeping. They're kind of just knocked out in a sense. Comatose individuals are closely monitored in a medical setting to assess the vital signs, brain activity, and other parameters critical for providing appropriate medical care and support. The duration of coma can vary widely, ranging from relatively short periods to more extended phases, such as, a few days to a few years. The underlying causes of comas are often serious medical conditions or injuries affecting the brain, encompassing traumatic brain injuries, strokes, infections, and metabolic disorders. Coma recovery is a complex and unpredictable process. Some individuals gradually emerge from a coma, transitioning to a state of reduced consciousness known as the vegetative state or minimally conscious state. The recovery trajectory varies widely among individuals, and the degree of recovery is influenced by factors such as underlying cause of the coma and the extent of the brain damage. Tier 5. Dreams about pyramids and ancient debris. Dreams featuring pyramids and other ancient debris weave a tapestry of weird symbolism and potential meanings. The iconic pyramids, with their historical and cultural significance, often serve as a powerful symbol in the realm of dreams. One interpretation may link them to stability and strength, suggesting a subconscious desire for a solid foundation in waking life or a belief in personal resilience. The dream might be urging you to build a stable and enduring structure for your goals and aspirations. So, kind of interesting how your subconscious picks up on these things, in that your dreams actually sometimes have meaning that you never knew about and that could greatly improve your life. Something I never knew before making this video, but pretty interesting. Melatonin dreams. Melatonin itself doesn't directly induce dreams. Its influence on sleep patterns can affect the nature of your dream experiences, although, when used as a supplement to improve your sleep quality, melatonin may contribute to more vivid and memorable dreams. Dreams typically occur during REM sleep, and melatonin's impact on sleep architecture can greatly influence the frequency and the intensity of dream experiences. Break dreams, or tolerance break dreams, and taking a tolerance break from substances like cannabis can lead to notable changes in your dream experiences. Cannabis is known to suppress REM sleep, a phase associated with vivid dreaming. As one refrains from cannabis use during a tea break, a rebound effect may occur, resulting in an increase in REM sleep. This heightened REM activity often contributes to more intense and memorable dreams. During a tea break, individuals frequently report an enhanced ability to recall their dreams. Cannabis use can diminish dream recall, so abstaining from its consumption can lead to increased awareness and retention of dream content. So basically, your body has been kind of waiting to release all of your kind of dreams of some sort, if that's a good way to think of it. But if while under the influence of cannabis for an extended amount of time, your body is still waiting to release all of that kind of dream juice to an extent. So when you finally take a tolerance break, it will just release it all kind of at one time or in big loads, and you'll just see a lot more vivid dreams after your tolerance break. Technology almost never works in dreams. The recurrent theme of technology frequently failing to work as expected in dreams can be attributed to several different factors inherent to the dreaming experience. Dreams, by nature, follow an inconsistent and unique logic that doesn't faithfully replicate the intrinsic details and functions of technology or reality. The brain responsible for dream creation may not fully recreate the specific features, the specific buttons, or functionalities of devices found in waking reality. Moreover, dreams often prioritize emotional content, narrative, and symbolic representation over the meticulous recreation of technological details, and it's hard for your brain to kind of do that to any extent. The malfunctioning of technology in dreams may serve actually, instead of just technology not working, but as a symbolic representation of broader emotions, fears, or uncertainties in your life, such as the feelings of loss of control, frustration, or anxiety. Dreams operate in a realm where the mind is somewhat disconnected from the constraints of reality. Exploding head syndrome is an unusual sleep phenomenon characterized by the perception of loud, often explosive sounds during the transition between wakefulness and sleep. Despite its alarming name, EHS, or exploding head syndrome, is not accompanied by any sort of pain or actual physical harm. Thank God there isn't a syndrome out there that just, explodes your head. But any episodes are usually typically brief, lasting only a few seconds, but it can be really scary for the person experiencing it. The auditory hallucinations resembling explosions, gunshots, or thunder occur most commonly during the onset of sleep or upon waking. It is considered a pretty rare phenomenon, with a higher prevalence in women and individuals over the age of 50. The exact cause of EHS still remains unclear, but it may be linked to factors such as stress, fatigue, and changes in your sleep pattern. Episodes tend to be more prevalent during periods of sleep deprivation. While EHS may be startling, it is generally benign, with no associated health risks, but it will just scare the hell out of you. Diagnosing EHS is based on the characteristic symptoms reported by individuals, and there are no specific tests for this identification, but it's pretty easy to tell if you have it because you'll just, hear a gunshot or explosion right before you go to bed or right as you wake up. Hypnopompic hallucinations occurring during the transition from sleep to wakefulness are vivid and often unsettling sensory experiences taking place in the hypnopompic state. These hallucinations can encompass various sensory modalities, such as visual, auditory, and tactile sensations. The experiences are characterized by their realism, blurring the boundaries between dreams and waking reality. So this is kind of like dreaming, but you're kind of awake, but you're not really awake, and you're not really dreaming. So just kind of like a merge between those two in a blur. These hallucinations can involve a range of content, from seeing people, animals, or objects to hearing voices, music, or other sounds. So once again, this can be pretty scary. Some individuals may also experience tactile sensations, feeling as if they are being touched. That's pretty creepy. The content of hypnopompic hallucinations can occasionally be frightening, involving a sense of impending danger, strange creatures around you or in your room, or threatening voices. So, not a fun experience nonetheless. While hypnopompic hallucinations can be associated with sleep disorders such as narcolepsy and sleep paralysis, they may also occur independently and randomly, which makes them almost more scary because, you could go to sleep tonight and wake up surrounded by animals or people touching you. And so just hopefully that doesn't happen to any of you guys watching, but that's just crazy how stuff like this can happen just randomly with no real explanation. Tier 6, Dream Remote Viewing. Dream remote viewing is a concept rooted in the idea of gaining information about distant or unseen targets through extrasensory perception, which is pretty interesting. I've seen this and studied this by myself quite a lot, and it's pretty interesting. And so this ESP within the dream state, it involves the perception of knowledge or insights beyond the ordinary senses, often resembling precognition or clairvoyance. While remote viewing typically refers to the conscious attempt to gather information about distant targets, dream remote viewing expands this phenomenon into the realm of dreams. In the context of dream remote viewing, individuals may report experiences of accessing information about future events or distant locations while dreaming. Precognitive dreams, wherein dream content aligns with later real-world occurrences, are closely associated with this concept. The interpretation of such dreams often involves deciphering symbolic representations, as dreams are known for their symbolic and metaphorical nature, but other than that, most of the time, it's just actually a coincidence that these things happen, and sometimes people can get pretty lucky and keep getting these coincidences over and over and over again, and so they think they can see into the future or get information about something while they're not even remotely close to that area about knowing that. And so Pretty interesting, but my personal opinion, I think it's just a coincidence whenever this stuff happens. Fever dreams. Fever dreams, characterized by vivid and often bizarre dream experiences, occur during episodes of alleviated body temperature, usually associated with infections. The impact of fever on the brain's neurotransmitters and overall activity can lead to heightened dream intensity. Dehydration, often accompanying fever, may also contribute to the alterations in the dream content. The disrupted sleep patterns during a fever with more frequent awakenings increase the likelihood of remembering dreams, especially if waking occurs during or shortly after the dream. The content of fever dreams tends to be surreal, emotionally charged, and sometimes hallucinatory. The Gray Man. So I couldn't find anything very specific or any sort of definitions for the Gray Man, but I did find this very interesting Reddit story. I know how people feel about Reddit stories and how they say they're fake and stuff, but I found this interesting, so I'll go ahead and read it. And this is pretty long, but just bear with me, it's interesting. Okay, so this is a man's first-hand experience with a gray man. So let's go on. Okay, I'm really starting to get freaked out. Hopefully someone on here has some idea of what might be going on and can offer some advice. I feel like I'm going crazy. My husband and I moved into a new apartment 2 weeks ago. It's a newish building. I don't know the exact age, but my guess is that it's 15 years old at most. It's the kind of place that young couples and families live in, or groups of friends who combine rent while going to school. It's located near another apartment complexes in another college town. Nothing seems out of the ordinary with the place, and I don't know that it has a history. We bought up the rest of someone else's contract because they were moving out of town for work, but they seemed to be sad to leave this place. So I don't think they had any weird experiences or anything, but I found something weird since moving here. Although it's mostly been these undefinable things, it's not the kind of lights turn on and off type of spooky, more like the I'm slowly losing my mind kind. It started when we were moving in our stuff. I'm afraid of dogs, and I was carrying in some boxes. I saw the shadow or something that reminded me of a dog, but it turned out to be nothing. That kept happening during the first week or so I think I'd seen something or someone, but nothing was there. No big deal, right? But it was weird because that doesn't usually happen to me. I've also had nightmares every single night since we moved in. I was prone to having them occasionally before, but not like this, nor with such extreme regularity. I try not to think about them too much, so a lot of the content is forgotten. I know that there's death, murder, S-word, being followed, getting attacked, etc. though, so not a good thing. My husband leaves for work very early, and I've been mostly working from home lately, so I'm usually alone when I wake up the second time, the first being when he gets up, and until he gets home in the afternoon. I get really freaked out by noises though. I keep thinking someone is in our apartment. I'm pretty sure most of the noises are coming from the tenants in neighboring units, but it feels like they're coming from other rooms in our place because I kept locking myself in the bathroom to feel safer. My husband finally installed a lock in our bedroom. I keep thinking someone's going to come in and attack me. What finally pushed me to reach out and see if you or you guys have any ideas what happened this morning. My husband went to work as usual, and I fell back to sleep. I started having nightmares again, then suddenly I woke up and couldn't move. I've had sleep paralysis before, maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, but the last time was when I was maybe 14, so about 10 years ago. What made this time different was that I was actually hallucinating, if that's what it was. This tall, gray man was standing right next to me, next to my bed. I was sure he was about to hurt me. All those noises I've heard, the perpetrator that was out to get me, the content of my bad dreams. This was it. This guy was going to hurt me and probably kill me. I tried to move, but I couldn't. I was convinced that if I could just get up and get out of the room, I'd be able to run away because he didn't know I was awake yet. So maybe I would take him by surprise, but he noticed me. When I've had sleep paralysis before, I got out of it maybe 3 minutes, but this went on for what felt like hours, but was probably closer to 15 minutes. I finally just fell asleep again because I couldn't ever wake up enough to do anything but move my eyes slightly, no matter how hard I fought. This is all very uncharacteristic for me. I don't get scared by anything paranormal or supernatural. I had a horror movie phase a couple years ago where I tried to find any movie that could scare me if I was lucky. 1 in 10 movies made me jump once. I eventually gave up. I read No Sleep maybe once every 2 weeks. But it's all fun and games. I don't actually take it very seriously. Now, if this is all up to an overactive imagination or something, then it'll go away. Or at least I'm not in any real danger. But if this is something supernatural, what do I do? What do you think is going on? What can I do to make it stop? Is it just going to keep getting worse? Alright, that was the Reddit story, but I think it did a good job at showing how creepy sleep paralysis can be in this so-called gray man. But as I've done a little bit more research, it says that most of the time this, quote, gray man is just something that happens somewhat common during sleep paralysis, but terrifying nonetheless. Shadow people, a paranormal phenomenon, also kind of related to the last entry, are often described as dark, shadowy figures with a humanoid appearance. Witnesses recount encounters with these entities as fleeting and unsettling experiences. The figures are typically perceived in peripheral vision, characterized by a dark and featureless silhouette resembling a person. Reports commonly involve rapid movements in instances where the entities seem to vanish or dart out of sight when directly observed. Encounters often occur in low-light conditions or during the night, and some individuals describe feeling a sense of dread or fear during these experiences. Randy Gardner Sleep Deprivation Experiment. The Randy Gardner Sleep Deprivation Experiment is a well-known case study that took place in 1964, involving a high school student named Randy Gardner. The experiment was conducted as a science fair project with the assistance of 2 Stanford University researchers, William Detman and Jack D. Broughton. Randy Gardner, at the age of 17, decided to test the limits of human wakefulness by staying awake as long as possible. The experiment took place over a total of 11 days, from December 28, 1963 to January 8, 1964. Gardner's goal was to break the existing record for sleep deprivation, which was set at 260 hours, which was approximately 11 days at the time. Throughout the experiment, Gardner was monitored by researchers, and his physical and psychological condition was documented. The study attracted significant attention, and Gardner's experience provided valuable insights into the effects of prolonged sleep deprivation. As the experiment progressed, Gardner experienced various symptoms of sleep deprivation, including irritability, mood swings, impaired concentration, and lapses in memory. His cognitive abilities and motor skills also deteriorated. Towards the end of the experiment, he started to exhibit signs of paranoia and hallucinations. After 11 days without sleep, Gardner finally allowed himself to sleep. Remarkably, he slept for 14 hours and 40 minutes straight, and upon waking, he reported feeling well rested and alert. Despite the extreme nature of the experiment, Gardner did not suffer any long-term negative effects, and his body and mind seemed to recover relatively quickly. Fatal insomnia. Fatal insomnia is an extremely rare and progressive neurodegenerative disorder that leads to severe sleep disruption and ultimately death. This disorder is part of a group of diseases known as prion diseases, which involve the misfolding of protons in the brain. The condition is characterized by the gradual and irreversible deterioration of the thalamus, a region of the brain that plays a crucial role in regulating sleep. As the disorder progresses, individuals experience increasing insomnia, leading to complete inability to sleep. Apart from insomnia, symptoms may include weight loss, hallucinations, and other psychiatric symptoms. Cognitive functions also decline, and individuals may experience difficulty with coordination and movement. The name fatal insomnia reflects the grim prognosis associated with the disorder. The progression is relentless, and individuals affected by the condition typically succumb to it within a year or two symptom onset. Tier 7, Klein-Levin syndrome, or KLS, commonly known as Sleeping Beauty syndrome, is a rare neurological disorder characterized by recurring episodes of excessive sleep, accompanied by cognitive and behavioral changes. Individuals with KLS may enter episodes during which they sleep for abnormally extended periods, sometimes up to 20 hours a day, and these episodes can persist for days, weeks, or even months, sleeping away almost months of their life. Alongside excessive sleep, affected individuals may exhibit cognitive symptoms like confusion and disorientation, as well as behavioral changes such as irritability, mood swings, hyperphagia, which is increased appetite and compulsive eating, and in some cases, hypersexuality. Visual or auditory hallucinations may also occur, primarily impacting adolescents and young adults. The exact cause of KLS remains uncertain. Nicotine patches and dreams. Nicotine patches dreams, commonly employed in smoking concession programs to help individuals quit smoking, release a controlled dose of nicotine through the skin, aiding in the gradual reduction of nicotine dependence. While generally associated with a lower risk of adverse effects compared to smoking, some users have reported experiencing vivid and unusual dreams when using nicotine patches. The exact reasons for this phenomenon are not entirely clear, but potential explanations include nicotine's impact on sleep architecture, acting as a stimulant that may influence the REM stage where vivid dreaming occurs. Additionally, withdrawal symptoms during nicotine production as part of smoking cessation could contribute to changes in your sleep pattern and the overall dream experiences. Childhood memory dreams. Childhood memory dreams are a manifestation of the mind's ability to draw upon recollections, impressions, and emotions and memories from early years during the dream state. These dreams may involve reliving specific moments, interacting with past figures, or incorporating elements significant during your childhood. The emotional weight associated with childhood events often contributes to the potency of these dreams. Revisiting memories during dreams can serve various different purposes, including emotional processing, resolution of unresolved issues, and a sense of comfort or escape through nostalgia. PTSD nightmares, or post-traumatic stress disorder nightmares, are a prevalent and pretty distressing symptom experienced by individuals who have undergone traumatic events. PTSD, arising from exposure to life-threatening experiences like combat, assault, or accidents, often manifest through vivid and recurrent nightmares. These nightmares involve distressing reenactments of the traumatic event, contributing to the persistent sense of distress and emotional turmoil. Flashbacks, wherein individuals feel as they are reliving the trauma, can be triggered by these nightmares, accompanied by physical and emotional reactions reminiscent of the original trauma. The impact of PTSD nightmares extends beyond just the dream state, affecting overall sleep quality and contributing to sleep disturbances like insomnia. Tier 8. Trapped in a dream. And this is most likely referring to just sleep paralysis, which is what we've talked about before, but it's a phenomenon involving temporary immobility during the transition between sleep and wakefulness. And it can evoke a feeling of being confined or trapped, and these hallucinations that go along with it could be the idea of being trapped in a dream. The man who never slept, otherwise known as Al Herpin, was an American known for his claim of having lived an extraordinarily long life without sleep. Herpin asserted that he had not slept for decades, and this assertion gained attention, making him a notable figure in discussions about sleep and human psychology. Herpin's life and his claim of perpetual wakefulness attracted public interest, and he became known as the man who never slept, or the marvelous man who does not sleep. However, his claims were met with skepticism, and there's any limited scientific documentation or validation of his sleep patterns, so he could just have made that up and was lying about it. And alright, that wraps up the sleep and dream iceberg. I really hope you enjoyed, because I enjoyed talking about it and researching it and writing the script. And if you did notice, I did skip a few in here because I've recently been told by YouTube that I shouldn't be talking about kind of more conspiracy stuff like that. And I'll continue not to talk about conspiracies and stuff like that. And so if you saw I skipped any, they are most likely related to conspiracies or drugs or stuff like that, which I just don't want to touch on in my videos because I don't want to get in trouble. And alright, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers. And anyways, see you next time.